Kia ora te whānau. Welcome to our series on Kaupapa Frameworks. These are the guiding architecture for an organisation grounded in mātāpono or values which shape practice. In this series we'll discuss different frameworks, give our take on what they're saying, and more importantly, explore what we can learn about our own mātāpono, our values, and how they guide our organisations. We do this respectfully as outsiders, learning from deep scholarship and thinking as we go. If you like our content, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you'll be notified as more episodes come online. Have a read of our piece on Kaupapa Frameworks in the link below. In this episode, we look at He Ara Waiora, the New Zealand Treasury's Wellbeing Framework, which is grounded in deep mātauranga. He Ara Waiora is the work of Te Tai Ohanga, the Treasury. It began with a group of Māori public servants and mātanga or experts examining how tikanga could interact with our tax system. Important questions. The consultation became widespread and evolved into this framework around wellbeing. There have been a number of iterations, with the latest revision in 2022 towards the end of COVID lockdown. There was even a paper outlining the application of this Kaupapa framework as a response to COVID. Those mātanga who developed this include Rikirangi Gage, Dame Nader Glavish, and other respected leaders and thinkers from Te Ao Māori. Treasury had been experimenting with other ways of measuring living standards for some time, beyond GDP and those usual measures. In 2011, they released the Living Standards Framework, a flexible framework that prompts thinking about policy impacts across different dimensions of well-being, including long-term and distributional issues. So it helps them develop policy which impacts us all. Treasury's work is incredibly important across government and therefore across all of Aotearoa. You've got to give credit to Treasury for not assuming one framework would suit everyone. They recognise that global north literature wouldn't necessarily address our situation here in Aotearoa. The American, European, Australian literature wouldn't necessarily recognise our context, our culture, our needs, our aspirations. So alongside the Living Standards Framework, there's La Langa Whao for a Pacific perspective, and the Children's Commissioner's Wellbeing Wheel for children's well-being. And of course, there's He Ara Waiora, a framework that helps Treasury understand waiora, a concept, according to the authors, that relates to Māori perspectives on well-being and living standards. The key questions in He Ara Waiora are: 1. What's a living standard? What does it mean? 2. How can the public service understand what that means and then implement it? And 3. Incredibly importantly, how can mātauranga shape and inform these views? The term waiora speaks to a broad conception of human well-being, grounded in wai or water as the source of ora or life. I love this thinking. It grounds well-being in an incarnational form, water being the source of life. This contrasts with more abstract notions of well-being, such as order in and of itself. And He Ara Waiora, a path to well-being, is a coherent concept without precluding other options. It's He Ara, not the definitive article Te Ara, a path, not the path. The creators of this Kaupapa framework do the hard intellectual work of defining relationships between components. They differentiate between the ends, important elements in Māori perceptions of well-being, and the means, the tikanga values or principles that help us achieve those ends. While seemingly straightforward, there's courage in this work. Concepts like kotaitanga are often seen as ends, but here in this Kaupapa framework, they're articulated as means in service of creation. And those ends include ira tangata, the human domain, te taiao, the natural world, and wairua, or spirit. Wairua is positioned at the centre, which is fascinating. While pictorial descriptions can't always portray nuance, this framework clearly delineates wairua as the foundation or source of well-being. It relates to, but is separate from, te taiao and te ira tangata. Te taiao remains central, the environment should, as does te ira tangata, humanity. and te ira tangata is further allocated into he tangata or people and he kainga or communities. Then there are various forms of mana. Mana, defined by Māori Marsden as divine authority or power, whether that mana is inherited or achieved, gives humans their authority, and in this model is the basis for well-being. The key principles, the means, are called taitanga, being aligned, tikanga, right values and processes, including partnership with the treaty partner, whanaungatanga, or strong relationships, manakitanga, uplifting the mana of others, and tiakitanga, guardianship, stewardship. While these are fairly common, almost universal in mātauranga, it's interesting to see them thought of as means rather than ends in themselves. The hard work has already been done in this model, defining the key relationships between ends and means. Another way to look at it, the ends or foundations are the values, wairua, taiao and ira tangata. The means are the ethics, expressions of values, and tools which in turn shape the values. So, what does this mean for your organisation? What do you consider your values as opposed to or alongside your ethics? What are you trying to achieve and how will you achieve it? And are the two aligned, your values and your ethics, perhaps your mātāpono and your tikanga? He Ara Waiora, we have some brilliant insights, due in part to the extensive consultation process. Yes, they can't all be mātāpono, but that's fine. But also the depth of mātauranga of those consulted. The wānanga creates the Kaupapa Framework, and in turn, well-being and flourishing of all creation stems from there. Kia ora tātou. Thanks for watching, subscribe, hit the bell, and join us for the next episode in our Kaupapa Framework series.